Hi, my name's Andy. I'm an English student in the master's program at the University of West Florida with a specialization in literature. I started this degree because I want to teach, and also because I can do most of my work while sitting on my couch. That's probably not the best reason, but it is because with an English degree you have to read a lot. And it's nice to be able to work in a position that you're just comfortable. I chose English because I do have a passion for books, for reading, for language. And I think it's important to share those skills with other students, which is why I want to teach. So the types of courses required for an English master's degree run a wide gambit. Everything from Chaucer, which I got to learn in Middle English and learn to speak it, to courses on pulp magazines, intensive literature courses on modernism, artists like Faulkner and Hemingway, and in class settings where people want to talk about the literature, which is very exciting, and what you can do with literature and how you can apply it to everyday situations, which is really one of the most fun things about an English degree. I also get to teach English classes as a graduate student. I'm a teaching assistant, so I have my own composition classes, which is a great learning experience because what I want to do is to teach at the college level. And so that gives me some practical, real-world experience in working with students, and it also helps me to improve my writing and the way I approach my field, because I get to work with students who perhaps aren't as interested in English as I am. It helps to keep it fresh and it helps to keep it new. Most English programs at the master's level require that you do a thesis before you graduate. And a thesis is a larger work, usually somewhere between 25 to 50 pages, that shows that you have learned all the critical thinking skills, that you have mastered the writing techniques that you would learn in an English master's program. My favorite part of getting a master's degree in English is that I can read all day, and that's working. That's the absolute best part. I also get to work with people who care about the same things I do, maybe not necessarily in, an ideological sense, but they care about reading, they're passionate about literature, they care about books, and they care about language. And in working with students, I can make a difference. I can, even if it's just with one student, I can help them to write better. I can help them to learn to read better. And that's important to me, because also in this degree, you can make a difference on a bigger scale by the work that you produce. Reading and literature touches our lives in so many ways that not being in the degree, some people might not be aware of. And you get the opportunity to challenge beliefs, you get the opportunity to write about history, make statements about all sorts of things that affect the way we live now, and to try to make a contribution to maybe even try to make this a little bit of a better place to live in. So the hardest part of working toward this degree, for getting a master's degree in English, is being willing to question everything. That really is the hardest part, because it requires an incredibly open mind, but to achieve that it also requires intensive research, it requires intensive reading, and just introspection, and thinking about the things that you have read and the things that you have learned and how to apply those into a real world situation, because that's really the important test of what we can do with literature, how we can use it to make this place a better world. And that's something that I kind of wish someone had mentioned to me before I started on this path, because you have to be willing to give it your all. It's intensive with the amount of research, the amount of reading that you do on a weekly basis, and you have to be willing to give it the time to do that. And that time and dedication are usually the two biggest hindrances to finishing a program and being happy with what you get from it. So when and if you are thinking about trying to find a master's program that suits what you want to do, before you even start looking at schools, You have to decide what your passion is. You have to find something that interests you enough to put up with all the intensive reading, all the intensive writing, and all the intensive research, because that passion is what's going to carry you through. Because it can be an intense process, and you need that thing that makes you want to learn more about a particular subject, that makes you want to read more, that makes you want to interact with people who have the same ideas. You need that. That's going to show in all of your applications, in all of your writing samples, and in all of the coursework that you've done. Sometimes it's not really all about GPA, but it is about the passion that the people who are reading your applications and trying to determine if you're a good fit for their program. If they can sense that passion, that allows them to make a decision that's going to benefit both you and them. One very important thing for preparing for this type of degree, for preparing for an English master's degree, that you would want to do in order to prepare yourself, read. Read everything you can get your hands on, whether it's fiction, nonfiction, it doesn't matter. The more you read, the more you immerse yourself in language, and the better you're going to be able to present the ideas that you have, the better you can express yourself in language, the more clarity you have when you speak. It wipes out barriers between understanding. So even if it's just that you're applying for a job, or applying for a program, writing a paper, your language skills are incredibly important. You can improve them through reading, you can improve them through writing. Pay attention to grammar, because in today's society it's becoming something of a lost art. We're so involved with technical aspects of language that sometimes we forget that there's an art to language, and that art has been practiced for centuries. And you need to have some awareness of that, and some respect for the way that language can be used in order to really succeed in an English degree.